Okay. Good evening then.
That's all right. Well, actually, I want to, since I'm in US, I want to
Hmm.
give you guys just a brief news about the fire in California because I actually live there in Los
Okay.
Angeles.
Hmm.
So the fire here was pretty bad. There are two fire burning around me. The closest one is about 4 miles away from me, which is about 6 kilometer 6.5 kilometer from
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Four
Uh,
miles is
so
6.5. Yeah.
yeah, so it's really close. The air quality is really bad, and so I have a bunch of friends who actually have their entire house burned down to the ground, and they
Oh,
lost
very
their
sorry
home.
to hear that.
Yeah, so and then also the one that's far away from me, burning in a very expensive area. They have at at this point burned down 9,000 houses.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that is a very expensive area that each of the houses average price is 3.5 million US dollars. So I don't
Mm.
even know how much like the value that lost in that fire. It is still burning. So just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
give you some for people around the world who doesn't know who knows there's a fire going on in the US. Um, and yeah, I think this is as bad as one of the fire burning in Australia a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't gone through the news actually. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's just news for to wake everybody up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good morning and good evening, all. We'll be starting off the session today. Today is the first session on the compensation. Okay. So if you have gone through the demo, we have discussed what we'd be, doing in compensation, what exactly is compensation and all. If you have not gone through, just go through the recording. Or no, today is the first session, so we'll be starting off the day as day one, the introduction part, and then we'll be going to the provisioning part, like any other module. We also does the first configuration in provisioning system that we'll be doing it today. Okay, if time permits, we'll also do the RBP part as well. But for now, for the first session would be on the compensation provisioning settings. Okay, and do let me know if you have any doubts around any in any of the areas that we are discussing. Okay, so let me open up the provisioning system. Okay, so I've logged into provisioning, and when you click on the company, again same thing like how we did the configuration in the Employee Central. We also do the same settings, similar settings here in compensation as well, from edit company settings and company settings. You go to company settings, there are very few configurations or very few steps that we enable here in provisioning with respect to compensation module. All of these things can also be done from the instance. Initially, when SuccessFactors started their implementations, we were doing all of these settings in provisioning. But later, since SuccessFactors has given this option, given these options in instance also, we are now managing through instance as well. But again, still there are some features which are not available in instance, only available in provisioning. We'll have to turn on these features. Okay, scroll down under company settings, you see compensation management, and this is the switch that enables the compensation management for in the instance. Okay, all the customers may not need compensation management module. So if customers are not going with compensation module, you will see this button turned off. But here this is enabled, so that means we are going to configure, or we are going to use compensation module in instance. Okay, first switch. And under compensation, these are some of the settings what needs to be enabled or disabled based on the requirements of the customer. The first one in it is use form creation hierarchy instead of current hierarchy in compensation rollup. In compensation planning, we have three different hierarchies. Sorry. We have three different hierarchies. One of it is the first one, or the majority of the customers go with the standard hierarchy. And then you have roll up hierarchy. Last one is compensation planner hierarchy. Okay, so these are the three hierarchies what customers can choose from. Most of the customers, 90 to 95% of the customers, they go with standard hierarchy. Some customers may go with roll up, and some customers may go with compensation planner hierarchy. Now, what does this hierarchy, standard hierarchy or roll up or compensation planner hierarchy means? In standard hierarchy, system always pick the manager from job information. On job information, we maintain the manager or supervisor, right? System considers the manager. Now, if in case for the compensation planning, if the planner is manager, system picks up the manager from job information. Every employee will have the job information manager field maintained. This is mandatory, right? Except the one person in the organization who is at the highest level, every employee should have a manager reporting. Okay, so the reporting structure will have to be defined through job information, either manager or we call it a supervisor field. Okay, whatever you call it. And then second is the roll up hierarchy. Roll up hierarchy will also consider the manager from job information only. But the difference here is for each and every manager, you will have a checkbox where you will have to go and choose whether you want to include that manager in the planning or not. For roll up, you will have to manually go and choose whether or not to include that manager in the compensation planning. So the planning is same from job information, but the roll up hierarchy you will have to select manually. Okay. And the compensation planner. Compensation planner is if you have a different compensation planner. If you don't want to consider manager as a planner, but a different compensation manager, then you go with compensation planner hierarchy. In this case, you will have to set up the relationship in job relationship. You'll have to set up the job relationship. Job relationship, comp manager. If customers are not using Employee Central, so they will not have relationship, job relationship. So we'll have to maintain that in the UDF. You'll have a separate field called compensation planner. For each individual, you'll have to maintain a different manager. So in some organizations, what they do is they'll have two different managers. One is a regular manager who will take care of all of the activities. And the second is a manager who will be responsible only for doing the compensation planning, only for the salary increases. That manager will be taking care. So that manager will have to maintain the relationship in job relationship. And the roll up, same as job info manager, but you will have to manually choose whether that employee is to be the planner or not. Whether you want to include that manager in the planning or not. So if you have 100 managers and I want to exclude some managers, yes, I can do that. Give me 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. Can you all hear me? I'm sorry. Okay. So these are the three hierarchies what we use in success factors. Either one of it can be used. You can only use one, either standard or roll up or compensation manager hierarchy. Now in roll up hierarchy, we have an option of, let me go to provisioning. Yeah. Use form creation hierarchy instead of current hierarchy for compensation roll up. So while launching the worksheets for managers. Okay, now today we have an employee A reporting to manager A, and manager A reporting to manager B. So that means employee's manager is manager A, and employee's manager's manager is manager B. Okay, at the time of launching the compensation planning, we launched the worksheet for manager. Okay, so manager A contains employee A. And after the form launch, if there is a change in the manager, generally the compensation planning is always done at the end of the year, before start of the year, after your performance appraisals are completed. After the employee's performance review is completed, we'll be doing the compensation planning. So when you are launching the plan, you have employee A reporting to manager A. And after the form launch, employee A is now moved to manager C. Employee is now reporting to manager C instead of manager A. But at the time of launch, we have the employee reporting to manager A. Now, what do you want to use? Do you want to still continue with this setup, or you want the employee to be moved to manager C so that manager C will do the review of employee A? What do you want to do? You want to have the form creation. This is your form creation hierarchy, and this is your the current hierarchy. This is your current hierarchy. In EC, we have changed the hierarchy, and this is your form creation hierarchy. If you want to continue with form creation hierarchy, whatever manager that the employees map to while launching the worksheet, you want to continue with the same setup, you check this box, use form creation hierarchy instead of current hierarchy. This is your current hierarchy. Maybe in EC, it shows up as manager C, but since the forms were launched with manager A, system will continue to have the employee A reporting to manager A in the compensation planning. Okay, is that clear? First step. Okay. Now use.
Hello, Venu.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, this hierarchy is used for only for form creation.
No, hierarchy is for the entire setup. Okay, let me show you that. Let me show you. In here, if I go, this is the configuration action for all plans. I'll give you all of these navigations again, but just to show you. The configuration is different for different templates. I'll take one simple template and show you the hierarchies. Under manage users, I see here defining the planners. Okay, so defining planners, I have standards to suit hierarchy, roll up hierarchy, and compensation manager hierarchy. Now, in each of your compensation plan, you can choose either one of these options, standard, roll up, or compensation. So if I choose standard suit hierarchy and search for an employee, let's say I want to search for an employee called Mohan. Okay, so this employee. Now system will show me all of the employees who are reporting under. There are 30 different planners under Mohan and 67 employees reporting to these 30 employees. So it will show all of my hierarchy. That means system will launch planning for 30 planners. Okay, with 67 employees. That's your standard suit hierarchy. That means as per your org chart, you have 30 managers reporting to Mohan. Okay, either directly or indirectly, there are 30 managers under Mohan and 67 employees, each manager containing some employees, so it is showing up as 67. Now, instead of standard suit hierarchy, now just remember this structure. I'll go and choose the roll-up hierarchy. Here, roll-up hierarchy will also have the same structure as your standard suit hierarchy, in addition to the regular structure, okay, let me go here and save. In addition to it, you'll see the check boxes here. You'll see the check boxes. Now, none of the check boxes are checked, so you have 0 planners. If I go check Anya Sync, okay, 1 planner, okay, I'm selecting the planners manually here and just say save. It will include the number of planners. There are 29 planners here. Now, if I uncheck these options, so it will remove the planners here. Okay, there are 27. So you'll have to manually go and select. Now, for this template, if I'm using roll-up hierarchy, now this is the form creation hierarchy. To as on today, we have these employees reporting. Now, Sarah is reporting to Eileen. Okay, now I have enabled this setup, Sarah and all of these managers. So I've enabled this roll up, which contains these employees. Now, after the form is launched, if Sarah is started reporting to Anya Singh instead of Eileen, Sarah started reporting to Anya Singh. So that is your current hierarchy. What happens to the hierarchy when the employee's manager is changed? Do you want to keep Sarah under Eileen in the form, or you want to move Sarah under Anya Singh? Anya Singh doesn't have a form, so this employee will also be removed. Okay, this is your roll-up hierarchy. It's called roll-up. In roll-up hierarchy, you will have to manually go and select each manager. Whom do you want to include in the compensation planning? You'll have to go select manually. By default, none of the managers are selected, and you'll have to manually choose the each planner. If there is any change in the employees hierarchy, then do you want to consider the form hierarchy, or you want to consider the new or the current hierarchy what we have in system? Clear?
So, hi, so this is Alok. So I want to know
Yeah.
about that, like in provisioning, if you will uncheck that, the
Hmm.
system will react as a current hierarchy or that,
Current
like,
hierarchy. Current
okay,
hierarchy. System will always consider the current hierarchy. Now you don't
okay,
want system to consider current hierarchy because every day the sync happens. Every day the sync. Now all of this data will go and sync. Generally what happens whenever you make some changes in the employee profile, it goes and updates the UDF file, right? UDF is user data file. All of your data will go and get updated in UDF. This is your basic import. Okay, in employee import employee data, you have the basic import, right? That file is called UDF file. So data gets synced to user data file, and that user data file will send the data to all the other modules like compensation, PMGM. All of those modules will be considering the data from UDF, not from the people profile. Okay, you make some changes in the people profile, it gets updated in user data file, and system sends the data from UDF to all the other modules. So the current hierarchy gets updated in UDF. So you want to consider that UDF data, or at the launch, at the time of launch, you know, whoever manager is tagged, do you want to still continue with the same manager? Okay, clear?
This checkbox selection can be happened at any time or at before the financial year starts. This
Sorry, the
compensation
check.
cycles. Yeah,
Sorry, can you come
this
again?
checkbox.
I lost.
Hello, yeah, this checkbox when
This
we have to
checkbox.
select
Hmm.
this. Yes, before
This one, yeah,
config
this one, if
starts.
you want to, you have, yeah, before config starts.
First one,
If you want
use form
compensation, now,
creation
yeah,
hierarchy.
first, okay, this one before form, now, all of these checkboxes, all of the settings, this is initial settings. Before even going to configuration of compensation, you first enable, disable the services that are available in provisioning. You do the setting and then go compensation and then do the settings or configuration in instance. Okay.
Okay.
Planners are nothing but managers.
Compensation planner is someone who does the review of an employee. Now, if you are reporting to me, I will be, if I am doing your compensation review, then I becomes the compensation planner. Let's check here. Okay. Here, employee A is reporting to manager A, manager A is reporting to manager B. So manager A is called planner of employee A. Planner of employee A is manager A.
Manager A.
Okay, now this is standard suit hierarchy as per the job information manager setup. Now, sometimes it may happen that your regular manager is different, and your compensation manager is different. You may be reporting to me. Okay, all your uploads are coming to me, your leaves or your transfers, all of them are coming to me. But when it comes to compensation, I will not be doing your compensation review. Somebody else would be doing. We have someone from the compensation team who is a planner or a manager, comp manager. Oh, even for me, that person will be doing. So that person is called the compensation planner. Whoever does the review of the compensation, that person is called planner. Most of the cases, if you are using standard or roll-up hierarchy, it is your manager who
Manager.
would be called as compensation planner. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now the second step, which is use edit in place for executive review edit. Okay. While doing the compensation planning, so if I am the compensation manager, if I am the manager or I am the planner, okay, so I will have to go to compensation planner. This is instance. I'll go here to compensation planning. I'm a manager. I want to review the salary of the employees. So I go to compensation planning from home page. So it will take me to the compensation planning screen where I will see the existing forms here. Now, let me remove this forms. So you have filter. So just remove that. Okay. Now this is my compensation planning forms screen where I have all of these forms with me. These are all different templates with me. Now, if I want to go and review it, I can go just select the compensation planning. Now it says compensation planning for Irfan. Okay, so it shows that it is the planning of so and so employee. Okay, it has come to me. This form has come to me. So I can go and review the compensation planning. Now, if I am the manager, let's say here manager C also, manager D. Okay. If the form is with manager D will contain form of manager B, manager A also, because he or she is a manager for all of these employees. So I will have a different template here. So I can go here and review the compensation planning. So I can give the rating, I can give the salary increase, I can do all of those things. This is the general form view. Okay. In addition to the form, we also have something called executive review. Executive review access is given to the highest level managers or only few employees in the organization. Now, these people will see all of the employee data. If I have 10,000 employees in the organization, and if I have access to all 10,000 employees, I can go and do the review in executive review. Let me go to one of the compensation planning here. If I go here, okay, one of the plan, I can see all the employees. Each form will contain, I'll tell you the difference here. Worksheet. Worksheet is for individual managers. Okay. One worksheet for one manager. Manager A will have one worksheet. Manager B will have one worksheet. Manager D will have one worksheet. Okay, and all of these worksheets are clubbed in executive review. In executive review, you will see the consolidated form. Executive review will show the consolidated form. Let's say manager A has 10 direct reports. Manager B has 15 direct reports. Manager C has 20 direct reports. Okay, so manager A will have one worksheet with his name or her name. Manager B will have another worksheet with 15 employees. Manager C will have another worksheet with 20 employees. So there are total of 20 plus 15, 35 plus 10, 45 employees. So all of these 45 employees data, we can see it in executive review. This is called your executive review separately. Now this access is only given to some employees in the organization. You will see here executive review with all the employees. There are 43 employees. You'll see different managers here. Now all of these employees are reporting to different managers, but we can see the complete employee data in one single form called executive review, where the planner can go and review the salaries recommendation for all the employees in one single form here. Now this is called merit or salary increase, right? So you can go review the salary increases here. Now this is edit in place. Do you want to have edit option of these fields in executive review? So this is enabled here in provisioning setting. Use edit in place for executive review edit. Now you can go edit the data here. So I can recommend, okay, let's say 5% of increase for this employee. So how I am able to edit the executive review? Because we have this edit in place. In provisioning, we have enabled executive review edit in place. The system is behaving weirdly today. Okay. Use edit in place for executive review edit. Any doubts so far? Yeah.
This access is given to specific managers.
Yes, that is controlled through RBP, role-based permission. Who should be part of your executive review? Who will have access to executive review? Now, this tab, what we see in the compensation planning, this is not visible for everyone. Executive review here. If you are a manager, you will see form, but executive review will not show for everyone. Executive review will be only for those employees who has access to executive review. If I am a manager, I will definitely have forms access. Because I am a manager, my employees I have to review, so I'll have forms access. But I may or may not have executive review access. Executive review access is controlled through RBP. Okay. The third is compensation form UI version 2. This is the latest version, so this has to be enabled. So whatever forms that we have seen, that is the latest version. So we'll have to enable this version 2. And then you have enable compensation Excel offline edit. Enable compensation Excel offline edit. Now, if I have 5 employees, I can do the review anytime. But if there are 100 employees reporting to me, my form contains 100 employees. Or let's say here we have 43 employees. Now, I don't want to do it in system. I want to download this into Excel, make changes in the Excel, and whenever I've completed, I want to upload that in the system. So you have option of import and export here. You can download this. Okay. You see here when you click on export, it says I want to add my compensation to exported file, then upload it when I am done. Recommended if you want to primarily make changes by import. Okay, so you can choose the template either XLS or XLXX or CSV just to export and see, and then export. Okay, let me save it first. Because I've changed the rating here. I go here and say export, and I want to upload this back after my changes. Select that option and say export. Now this will extract the compensation plan for this 43 employees into Excel, where I can go and do the changes offline. Okay, let me see here. This is my file. I will open with Excel. System is a bit slow today. I may have to restart it. Okay. Now what happens? I can download this form into Excel and make changes. Instead of doing it online, I can do it in the offline. Okay. And then import back into the system. So this feature is enabled from provisioning. Initially, you will have to choose whether you want to upload, you want to give the option of uploading the data through Excel offline or not. Okay, so enable compensation. So usually for all customers, we'll give this option. Allow compensation manager to grant revoke planner permissions via UI. Now this we are not handling now. This is only in the roll up hierarchy and we are not using this option anymore. Okay, from the planning itself, we can grant or revoke who can access the permissions. We are not doing this. If customers are not using RBP, they can use this one. But RBP is enabled for all customers across the globe. So this functionality we are not using now anymore. Allow compensation administrator to export compensation plan activity audit via UI. Whatever changes that each manager is doing in the front end, if I want to do the audit of this, let's say today I went and changed the merit to 5% for one of the employee. Now tomorrow, if compensation administrators want to review or audit who has changed the percentage or who has changed the amount, they can do the plan activity audit, and this is available in the configuration action for all plans. I'll show you that action. The switch of the plan activity audit will enable a configuration in instance. Any plan, if I go under manage worksheets, you will have a button called compensation plan activity audit. Using this, you can go and audit who has changed, when was the data changed, who changed. All of this data can be extracted through plan activity audit. If you don't enable this feature in provisioning, if I have not enabled this, I will not see this option in the instance. Compensation plan activity audit. Enable uCalc widget on compensation plan. On the compensation planning, there are some uCalc widgets, okay, which can be enabled. These widgets, if you want to use, you'll have to switch it in the provisioning first. Okay, I'll show you the widgets again. This is in the compensation planning. If I go to compensation planning, these are standard widgets again. If we go to manage dashboards, you will find these widgets. Here to compensation planning, I will see here widgets are enabled. Okay, this one. Now this is your widget. Budget pool, salary are, no, these are configured in a different way. You can go and enable these widgets. Okay, so these widgets can also be enabled using provisioning. Those are called uCalc widgets. Enable compensation employee profile individual view for compensation module. Each and every employee's data can be viewed here using open profile. You see, you click on three dots, you see open profile. You click on open profile, it shows up individual view of an employee. This employees, again, here I have only one employee. If I have multiple employees also, I can see individual employee view using the open profile. Okay, so that is called individual view. And if you want to enable this individual view, you'll have to turn on the feature in provisioning. Okay, here you see the three dots for everyone and open profile. You click on open profile of that employee, it shows up the employee, all of the details of that employee. Okay, again, you can configure what details you want to show in this open profile also. That you will be doing it in the instance. You see, it shows up the individual view of this employee. Okay, salary positioning, which shows up the range penetration and compare ratio here. And then if the employee has promotion, it shows up the promotion information, the personal information or job information, employment details, all of this information will show up here. That is individual view of an employee. Okay. Disable local based number format. Each country has got different number format. Some countries will have comma separator. Some companies will have the decimal separator or the dot separator. Some will have three or thousands and then some will have millions. So you have different number format for different countries. So if you want to disable the country specific number format, you can check this option, or if you want to keep it as it is, you can uncheck this. You can leave it unchecked. Skip audit failed job. Again, when you're doing the audits, generally if you have thousands of records, because if you have 10,000 employees in the organization and these employees data have been modified by different managers in different times, and if you're trying to extract all of the employee data in one single template, the system may give the errors because it contains millions of records in the excels. So if you want to skip the audit fail job, you can enable this skip audit fail job. And then guideline threshold. Guidelines are generally configured in the instance. Usually the number of guidelines would be 5, 6 or 10 or 15 or 20 maximum. But in some cases where you have configured hundreds of guidelines, guideline meaning you have, let's say I want to review the employees' salaries based on my PM rating. Okay, here I have a rating 1. It's not- I have to restart my system. It's not. Okay. So if I have ratings, 5 different ratings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the performance rating. Okay. If my merit increase or the salary increase is based on the salary review ratings. Okay. Rating 1 should have 5 to 10 percentage of increase. Rating 2 should have 10 to 15 percentage of increase. Rating 3 has got 15 to 20 percentage of increase. So this is my guideline. I am setting some guideline to all the users. If employee has a performance rating of 1, they should be getting a rating of, they should be having a salary increase of 5 to 10 percentage. That is called a guideline. In general, if it is the performance review rating based, so you will have either 3 rating scale or 5 rating scale. So you will have guidelines also, 5 different guidelines. In some cases, what happens is, now I want to consider performance review rating, but this is different for different countries. My company, my employees operate from 10 different countries. Okay, and every country has got performance rating, but each country has got different salary increases. So in US, rating 1 should have only 2 to 3 percentage or 2 to 5 percentage. In China, we have performance review rating, but there if rating 1, if employee has a rating 1, then they should get somewhere between 4 to 8 percentage of increase. So different employees of different countries have different salary revisions to be done. Okay, so in that case your number of ratings will increase, number of guidelines will increase. For India, we'll have to set up 5 rating. For US, you'll have to set up another 5 records. So 10 into 5, it becomes 50 guidelines. Now, I want to consider the country rating and the grade as well. Each grade has got different guideline. If employee is in so and so grade, employee should be, and rating is 1, then I want the guideline should be 2 to 4 percentage. So you have different salary guidelines based on different criterias, performance reviews, country, grade, and so on. So your number of guidelines will increase there. So when your guidelines exceeds a certain value, okay, and if you want that to be stored in the system backline, the guideline threshold, here it is set to 1000. Up to 1000 records, system will store the data in the front end. Anything more than 1000, system stores the data in the database. You will have to download the data and see what guidelines you have. Up to 1000, it shows up in the front end. So that is your guideline threshold. You can set up whatever number you want. Usually you leave it to 1000 because you will not have, in very rare cases, you will see the guidelines like thousands and no, in thousands. Usually it would be 5, 10, 15 or 20, a maximum of 100. Okay, if your customer is operating only from one country with only one rating scale, then you don't have to configure so many guidelines. It would be only 5 or 10 max. Okay, but in case you have you want to have your salary revisions to be considered or your guidelines to be based on different criteria, then the number might increase.
What is the recommended number for this threshold here?
Now you can leave it to 1000, which is the default setting, but you can also change. Now I'll show you the guideline as well here. Have guidelines configuration in the front end. So here you see one guideline, one guideline, one guideline, and merit you have 6 guidelines. You click on it, it shows you the 6. Now that means up to 1000, I can see the number here. Now I can see 1000. I can see 6, right? I can see the in the front end. But if you have thousands of guidelines, it won't show up here. You will have to import and export and to see that data. Okay. Now here the performance rating and country. These two fields are used as the criteria for guideline. So you can choose what should be your criteria for setting up the guidelines. Now, as per this guideline, any person with rating between 0 to 1, and if the employee is in country India, they should have a minimum of 0% and max of 5%. 1 to 2 rating, minimum of 5% and max of 10%. Now, based on this setting, you will see here the percentages. Now, each of these employees will have the different percentages here, 0 to 10%, 1 to 5%, and so on, depending on the rating and country of the employee. Okay, clear? And compensation bulk print job size, again, this is set to 3.
I don't
Go ahead.
know how these merit guidelines are used.
Yeah, we'll see that in the coming sessions. We'll be configuring
Okay.
this. Okay. Generally, now for any employee, how will a manager recommend a salary increase? Now, these are guidelines, these are configured. Now, system is showing 0 to 10%. Okay, for each employee, it is showing maybe different, or here in this case, it is the same. But in general, in real time, you will see different percentages for different guidelines for different employees based on their performance rating or country or grade or whatever criteria that we have set. Now, if it says 0 to 10%, planner can only recommend a salary increase of either 0 or 10, a max of 10, not more than that or not less than the value. So if I try to have 15% of increase for this employee, system will give me error saying this is outside of the guideline. Merit 15% is outside guideline of 0 to 10%. System will prompt you that this employee can only have a merit of 0 to 10%, not more than that or not less than that. That's your guideline. If you are a planner, you have 10 direct reports in your compensation plan. Each employee has got different rating, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So each employee will have a different guideline as well. If employee has rating 2, so that employee should have guideline of 6 to 10%. If you have set it to 6 to 10%, you can give only between those percentages, either 6 to 10, not less than 6, not more than 10. Okay.
If you really want to give an exception, is there a setup that will allow you to do that? Or you're gonna
So,
have to do a lump sum? If you really have to do that, uh, is the system going to
yes.
allow
So we
exception?
have different, yeah, yes, we have different sections. Merit will not allow you. If you have guideline now in this template, I have configured it to be the hard stop. Okay. When it is hard
Okay.
stop, it won't allow you to input the value other than what is configured. It can be a
Okay.
soft warning also. Soft warning will give you a warning message, but it will still allow you to continue.
Okay.
That's one way. That's the configuration. Generally, we have hard stops because every employee will every manager will say this is an exception case and say they will input a different value. Then your budgets will exceed. Every template will have some budget. If you are a manager, you will be given some budget. You are given $100 of budget. That $100 you need to adjust to all of your employees equally based on their performance. Now, why do we have the compensation module? Why customers go with the compensation module is system doesn't allow you to input the values, okay, other than now. If I have configured something and system will restrict you to stick to that values, it won't allow you to exceed, or it won't allow you to override those configurations, right? In Excel I can do anything, right? If I give them Excel and ask them to upload, they will, even if I put guideline of 5 to 10%, they will be 15%, and they'll save that record. But its system doesn't allow you. You can configure whether you want to have it as a soft warning or you want to have a hard stop. If I say hard stop, it won't allow you. Now in this case, it is hard stop. It says you cannot have a value more than the guideline. It gives you that error message here. Error message will not allow you to save the record. And we also have other options like merit. We have lump sum or adjustment. All of these things we'll be discussing in detail in the coming classes. Now, managers will also be given some additional like a lump sum or adjustment. Let's say some cases where, in exceptional cases where employee salary is very low, okay, and even after putting the maximum percentage of guideline there, they're not getting sufficient amount as a salary increase. So in that case, you can also input some bulk amount, some lump sum amount, okay, either to adjust or to give some additional amount. So we have different options here, lump sum, adjustment. If you want to promote the employee, you also have promotion amount as well. All of these things can be with your guidelines. Okay.
Here in the screen, where to check whether it's a hard stop or soft stop?
Now this is configured in the back end. We have configured in the guidelines. If I go here, this is my configuration here, guidelines. Okay, while configuring the guidelines, you can go and set rule settings. You see here, hard limit set to yes. If the hard limit is set to yes, users will not be able to input value outside the guideline. If I say hard limit no, users will have option to save the record with additional value also. Now what action you want to have or what message you want to show up, that also you can have it here. Okay, that is configurable. Okay. Moving back to provisioning setting here. Enable form view in executive review. Again, this is also the latest version.